William Austin Junior SuDS in Schools project was a partnership project delivered in conjunction with Thames Water and the Department of Education that jointly paid for the project, Luton Borough Council, the Environment Agency, and William Austin School itself. The school had flooded several times over, mainly due to overwhelmed drainage and an entrance at the bottom of a slope. The largest intervention on this site was the rainwater harvesting tank that drains an area of 500 metres squared of roof. It can hold 12,000 litres of water and is used to flush a toilet block at one end of the school with 14 toilets. A kiosk was installed to allow for data collection and monitoring. This is the school playground after the construction was completed. You can see 3 tree pits, inspection chamber, and underneath this astroturf is the rainwater harvesting tank. As well as the tree pits, there is a series of crates. They can hold 53,000 litres of water. The water flows off of the playground into the tree pits and aqua drain and is stored in the crates before being released slowly back into the soil. This allows for less water getting into the surface water drainage network. In addition, there were 6 planters installed on 3 outbuildings at the school. The roofs drain through the downpipes into the planters that can hold 2,000 litres of water each. They're planted up with a range of herbs which were chosen by the school to be non-toxic to the students. Beyond the construction, an assembly was held to educate the children about the SuDS on their school campus, and additional information was left with the school for them to use in the future. Thank you.
London Borough of Lewisham and its schools, in partnership with Trees for Cities, have embarked on an exciting new programme to adapt vulnerable urban school playgrounds to the changing climate through the installation of SuDS and nature-based solutions to help manage climatic risk at these schools. This phase of the programme was at Rathfern Primary School, Deptford Park Primary School and John Stainer. The project has really helped to transform the playgrounds, reducing surface water flood risk, increasing their adaptation to the changing climate, but also creating biodiversity in environments void of it, and improving the awareness and knowledge of climate change within the school community, and creating deeper connections to nature, and instilling a motivation to help protect and promote nature and the environment within the school pupils.
So in this particular school, the playground flooded quite a bit. Every time there was a heavy rainfall, there were certain areas of the playground that were just inaccessible to the children. They couldn't make any use of it. So the idea was to make sure that we could mitigate that. We could put in rain gardens, like the one I'm sitting beside, put in down pipe planters, and also tree pits. In a lot of the schools we work with, they don't have any trees, it's just a sea of tarmac. So here the concrete was cut out so that trees could be planted. We really do believe quite strongly that children appreciate nature if they can get a bit closer to it, and if all they ever see in their playground is tarmac, then they're not going to appreciate those little creatures that are crawling around.
The SuDS project has opened the doors to new learning and new opportunities for the children. Our school is based in a flood-prone area. With that, they've seen how members of the SuDS team has come in, and they've helped to get them to understand that this water, instead of creating a flooded area, can be used, it can be drained in a more sustainable way. So we're quite pleased to have that in our playground and to be a part of the project.
Enfield Council have transformed a historically underutilised park in the southern part of the borough into a stunning wetland with access to a rare natural section of the Pims Brook. Previously, the park was mainly used as a shortcut for crossing the A406 rather than as a recreational space. The landscape was preliminary grassland with a small hill to the east and some natural play features. The Pims Brook, which flows through the northern section of the park, was obscured by a palisade fence and situated 3 metres lower than the surrounding land, making it completely inaccessible. The park was particularly unusable during the winter months due to waterlogging. The site is also of archaeological significance, likely being part of the historic Weir Hall estate. During the works, we found evidence of an old pig farm and some Ice Age tundra and petrified wood. Wilbury Way was identified as a pivotal site for mitigating flood risk within the Pims Brook catchment. The wetlands are fed by diverting a surface water sewer and newly installed land drains into a series of wetland cells. These cells rely on infiltration but also have an overflow back into the Pims Brook. A bunded footpath also provides additional flood storage during large rainfall events. The wetlands have been planted up with various wetland plants which will help slow the flow and reduce pollutants in the water before it flows back into the brook. A 40-metre section of the Pims Brook has now been opened up. It's now accessible from the park and helps people see a rare natural section of the brook. Many residents have commented on how they wasn't even aware a river was there before. We formalised informal footpaths to give residents better access around the park, created a large high binoculum buried on the hillside next to the wetlands and used reclaimed stones found during the works for seating. A well-attended community planting event saw the wetland ponds filled with native wetland and marginal plants. A wildflower meadow was sown along with shrub and tree planting which will help blend the space into the rest of the park. Future plans for the park include installing PIR solar lighting along the main footpath, natural play equipment and to improve access links by creating a woodland walk north of the river linking back into the park.
The Flood Mitigation and Community Flood Resilience in Waltham Forest project has been a collaboration between several different council teams, including the Climate Emergency Team, the lead local flood authority, highways and parks, as well as external partners, including National Flood Forum, Thames Water and local flood action groups, which are made up of local residents. This joint working has been key to the success of the project by integrating flood mitigation schemes with climate change benefits and also combining resources. We've been able to deliver shared goals to maximise outputs. The flood mitigation strategy covers the whole borough with various sites across 7 critical drainage areas. And the combined approach of different schemes has included constructed wetlands, swales, basins, transforming local roads with SuDS and also household direct action. Here you can see a photo of one of the flood mitigation projects, the South Chingford project, which will completely remove 64 properties from flood risk, and a further 893 properties will have a reduction in flood risk. 2 other sites include Chestnut Fields Flood Mitigation Project, which will create a vibrant wetland ecosystem, and also the Philibrook Flood Alleviation Scheme, which covers Sixth Form College and Whipps Cross Hospital. In the Philibrook catchment area, we've delivered several street improvements, including permeable paving and rain gardens. You can see there some residents helping out with the planting. And we've also offered residents in that area, in some high flood risk areas, water saving devices and self-emptying water butts. Having this range of different schemes in the highest flood risk areas is already positively impacting residents living there. And the projects are also empowering residents with the tools to build their own flood resilience.
The Central Park Sustainable Drainage System scheme in Plymouth incorporated a variety of drainage improvement works in order to capture rainwater and contain it. This maintains a natural environment for wildlife and simultaneously encourages biodiversity. The objective was to transform water from a problem into a resource for the local community and for wildlife existing in the area. Flooding issues were intensified in times of heavy rain, and with the impending threat of climate change, this is only forecast to increase in the coming years. One of the integral constraints faced during this scheme has been management of existing trees and plants, some of which were protected. Considerations into the geographical layout was of primary importance. Pond installation is an effective and efficient method of combating flooding. The ponds were excavated into existing embankments which required retaining wall installation. Tens of thousands of cubic metres of earth were moved as part of the cut and fill process to enable the pond's successful completion. The retaining walls are a proprietary root lock system installed in small bags stacked on top of each other, which interlock initially, but after time, the living element comes into play, where roots and vegetation take hold to provide additional stability. Little to no maintenance is required for this system, making it an environmentally sound initiative that has seen great success with this project and adheres to our environmentally friendly objectives. The Central Park SuDS project contributes to a greener future, aids carbon efficiency and improves potential for wildlife development. The environmental achievements of the scheme include an increase in biodiversity, it has provided natural habitat for existing fauna and attracted new wildlife to the area. The entire project has been a focus on environmental sustainability, and we are proud to have delivered such a successful scheme in the heart of Plymouth.